Hey everybody, I'm Ebony. This is Ebonee's Creativity. Thank you so much for joining me here on my channel. Today's video is going to be slightly different from my previous ones where I'm taking like trash and turning it into treasure. That is because I've already refinished this piece, but it did not sell. So I'm going to be trying to freshen up the color to see if I can get it to sell. I'm not quite sure why it didn't sell. I have a little hunch that maybe I should have painted it pink from the beginning because the flowers on it are really feminine, but the blue color might be a little bit too different from the flowers. I don't know, but all of my pink pieces sell really fast, so I'm going to just go ahead and try to change this from blue to pink, freshen up the color, and see if I can get a sale because it is a rather large piece and I'm kind of tired of sitting on it. So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you have not already. Like the video if you enjoy the content. Thank you so much for watching, and let's hop right on into this video. This is how this piece looked after the first video, and as you can see, there are no flowers on the right and not that many on the top. The more I looked at it, the more unbalanced it looked to me, so I wanted to add more flowers. So I did add a few more on the top, and I added some more on the right hand side, just a few more to try to give it more of a balanced look. To be honest, had I not run out of material, I probably would have added a few more flowers on the right just to balance it out a little bit more, but I was able to wrap what I did have on hand around the side, so I thought it was good enough. Here's the left side, and no changes were made here. This is my second time flipping this piece, and I still do want to make a profit because I spent so much time doing those flowers by hand. So I'm going to be using a cheaper paint this time, but I trust this paint and I love it. This is a paint I started my channel with. I did my initial video on this piece 2 years ago, and the reason why I have been dreading changing the color on this is because of what you're seeing right now. I was not looking forward to sitting on the floor with a small brush, getting into every nook and cranny between all of these flowers to change the color of the paint. I think that this piece did not sell because the blue is more of a masculine and the flowers are a lot more feminine. I'm not sure if it just didn't get in front of the right buyer or what, but that's what I've told myself. I kind of pictured it for a nursery or for a little girl. I think most little girls have a pink color and not necessarily a blue color. So I'm not sure, but that's what I told myself. My pink pieces do really well and they sell quickly for me. I've not really had good luck with selling blue pieces. All the ones that I have sold, I've sat on them for a while before they sold at the price I wanted. So I know that pink does good for me. So I'm just going to go in with pink and hopefully this will sell quickly because I kind of need it out of my space. So after I was able to get one coat on with the small brush around all the little flower details, I went ahead in with a larger brush to get more surface area covered because at this point I have been painting for probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So it took a long time, and like I said, that's what I was dreading, but I'm happy that I'm getting it done now. Hopefully this piece will be out of here soon. And I just did that same process all around this piece. Went in with the small brush around the nooks and crannies of the flowers, trying to avoid getting paint on my flowers as much as possible. At some points I didn't bother to wipe it off, but I don't have any more of the green that I did on the little stems or the brown. So when I got paint on that part, I wiped it back. But when I got paint on the gold part, I was okay with it and I just left it. I didn't want to have to keep wiping paint off, and I knew I would probably have to touch up the flowers anyway, so I just decided to leave any pink paint that got on the gold and try to get rid of whatever got on the brown or the green. And after that, I just went in with a larger brush to cover more of the surface area, just like I did on the side panel. I know initially I said that I would have wanted to add more flowers on the right side, but at this point I am thanking God that I didn't do that because this is taking forever to repaint. Here's a clip of me doing the drawer. It's really just more of the same. I've already cut in around those flowers with my small brush, and then I was able to use my larger brush to cover more of the surface area that didn't have any flowers on it. Like I said before, I'm really glad I didn't end up adding more flowers because this side went by really quickly, much more quickly than the first side with all the flower detail. But after allowing the first coat to dry down some, here is how it looked. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you look really closely, like in the areas where I'm pointing, you can see that there is blue paint still poking through. So that let me know I am going to have the pleasure of doing this twice because this is going to need 2 coats. I darkened it a little bit so you can clearly see that there's a lot of blue showing through. On the drawers, it wasn't that bad. It doesn't really show up on camera, but it still needed another coat in order for me to get it to the level of opaqueness that I like. So I'm going to have to end up doing that. Here you can kind of see like a water stain where I'm pointing. Not exactly sure why that happened, but you can also see some blue kind of coming through if you look closely. And I just know at this point that I'm going to have to do a second coat. So once that dried, here you see me starting cutting back in with my small brush around all the flower details and doing the exact same thing that I did for the first coat all over again. Whenever I'm filming something that is kind of repetitive, I kind of struggle with knowing exactly how much of it that you want to see twice. So I'm going to speed this clip up a lot, more than I did the first one, but just know that doing this over again took the same amount of time that it did on the first coat. So I just kind of set aside a day to do this and mellowed out. My niece is in the background giving me all the high school tea, and I'm just kind of zoned out, chilling with her, listening to her stories and doing this. I had to really set aside the time to do this. So I'm going to speed it up a lot, but just know it took me a long time. Speaking of my niece, there's a video on my channel where she did a flip and she has watched me do a couple, but she doesn't actually ever do a process from start to finish on her own. So I allowed her to do that under my supervision, and I think that video would be really helpful for beginners if you're a beginning flipper. So I will definitely link that video down below in the description box. Okay, so hopefully that's enough of rewatching this process to where you get the point. I'm doing exactly what I did the first time for the second coat, and here is how it turned out. I took the time to take this outside to try to get some clear pictures for you all, but of course the trees are blocking the light, so sorry about that. But while I have this outside, I'm going to go ahead and spray 2 coats of polyacrylic over the whole piece. If you are a beginning furniture flipper and you don't have a paint sprayer, I would recommend using a wax to seal chalk paint. That's how most of us furniture flippers started out, with just chalk paint and wax over top. And the wax is really durable. I just prefer polyacrylic, and since I have the sprayer, I figure I might as well use it. The drawer pulls have never really been used, but I am going to freshen them up anyway. Just because I'm freshening up everything else, I figure I might as well hit these with a coat of spray paint. So I'm just using my tried and true Rust-Oleum spray paint in bright gold. Now I'm going to use this rub and buff and my small brush to go over the flowers that I got pink paint on. I'm not going to make this a lengthy process at all because I think leaving a little bit of the pink may make this piece kind of more whimsical, kind of perfectly imperfect, and I think that's appropriate for a child's piece. So I'm just going to kind of brush over as much as I can of the pink. If I'm seeing too much pink, I'm going to go in with this gold metallic pen that I have from Dollar Tree, just because I don't want to get any rub and buff on my pink paint, and this is going to allow me to be more precise with where I'm putting it. But these are 2 different color golds, and I don't even really care. Like I said, whimsical, perfectly imperfect, I think is appropriate for this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that. Hopefully the different tones of gold will add kind of more dimension to the flowers as well. There is a little bit of rose gold metallic paint that was on them from the first time I did this piece as well. So it has a few different shades of gold, and I think it looks cute still. You can let me know what you think in the comment section below. Just in case you're wondering why I'm still painting after I've done my top coat, I find that the rub and buff is really durable, so I don't really see a need to top coat it. Here are a few more images of how the flowers turned out. Up next, I'm going to reattach the hardware, and I used the paint can just to kind of prop the door open because I got a little bit of paint in the holes, and so I'm going to have to use a mallet to tap the handle back into place. So now that I've attached all the handles, without further ado, here are some final finished images. I really prefer the pink. At first I wasn't liking it, but it has grown on me after a few days of looking at this. Which color did you prefer, the blue or the pink? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. As you can probably tell by my staging photos, I don't really even have a place to properly stage my pieces anymore, and that's why I'm trying to make sure that I get some of these old pieces out of here. If you're interested to see how much it sold for and how long it took to sell, you can check my community tab. As soon as it sells, I will post an update there letting you guys know if you say that you want that information. Pink pieces do extremely well for me. I found that people are willing to spend more money on pets and children than they do on themselves. So that's why I didn't make this like more of a grown-up look with that whitewashed Pottery Barn kind of look that other people are doing. I want to go for the big bucks, so I will let you guys know if you want to know what I sell it for. If you have the time, please select another one of my videos to watch from the choices on your screen or in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching.